Hey guys, welcome back. It's time for our second Terran versus Terran here at the round of 8, the WCS finals here in Korea. And we saw a pretty interesting series between MVP and 4GG, but we're shifting gears a little bit. It's time for innovation up against Alive.
It's time for some brutal honesty right now. Everyone expects innovation to crush Alive. That is currently what everyone expects that has been following the last GSL season, that has been following Innovation's run. Alive is a good player, but it seems to be that Innovation is one of those unbeatable StarCraft 2 players that you just can't take down, and everyone thinks that he's playing on a completely different level.
Exactly.
So for Alive, I feel that he goes into this match as the underdog, and he has to show now that he is able to take down Innovation. I would not blame him to show us a few aggressive builds, all-ins, and Gs. I would actually think that this is one of the smartest things that he could do.
That's definitely one of the smartest things he could do. Innovation has shown in the past, sometimes he can be a little bit vulnerable to aggressive tactics. When it comes to the late game, though, he's almost unparalleled. His micro, his mechanics, really, really strong. So I think Alive is definitely going to do some all-ins here, at least one.
Alive is by no means a bad player. This is not what we're saying here. It's just like Innovation is so strong that he's looking so scary and kind of invincible these days. And for Alive, this is going to be a very, very tough road that he has ahead of him now.
Yeah. Alive actually, in the past, especially in Wings of Liberty, was known as one of the better Terran versus Terran Koreans. So when it comes to that, in Wings of Liberty, he was really, really strong, but Innovation just seems to be on a completely different level.
It was Alive's favorite matchup in Wings of Liberty. That was the matchup where he always said, hey, I feel really confident in my abilities in the mirror matchup. TVT, this is where I feel at home. This is where I am the best. He was always struggling a little bit against Zerg, a matchup where he said, like, yeah, don't like it. I really have a problem with late game Zerg here. So he has to show now against Innovation that also in Heart of the Swarm, he can really take down such a strong Terran opponent.
Exactly. I actually have the map list. Assuming we go to Game 5, I'll list all the maps for you guys before we get into the game. Daybreak is the first map. Of course, if that goes on to a Kill on Waste and Whirlwind, and the game is not already decided, then we'll go on to Star Station and Neoplanet S. And if we go into those two maps, Alive is having a good day.
Yeah. One of the games that I want to put your point of focus on right now is that Alive also played Ryang in. Forget completely what I just said.
Okay.
I just realized
Ryang played against MVP.
Exactly. Yeah, I just had like one of those moments, and okay. Yeah, back to our first map, Daybreak.
Daybreak, the map that we actually just saw kind of our closing game on in our previous series. So from an end to the beginning, we just go from Daybreak to Daybreak. And here is Innovation. Look at his ridiculous stats. Overall, 23 and 10 in WCS 2013, 69.7% win ratio. And versus Terran, he's got 2 and 1, so not a ton of games played. He's more known for his Terran versus Zerg, but still, he's an excellent player.
To give you some additional stats, and not only relying on the OGN stats here, but on his complete stats in Heart of the Swarm against the Terrans, he has a 60% win ratio in maps. He was playing in Pro League a lot, and is 4 and 2 as indicated here. What OGN doesn't show you is the rest of the statistics. Innovation took out Flash in WCS Korea in Code S with a 2-1. He was also successful. He lost to Flash at MLG. That was one of the losses that he took there. So in total, he has 6 map wins and 4 losses. Best of 3 wins and losses. In maps, he is 8 and 7.
Alive having, as far as his WCS career went, 16 and 10 overall. And, Alive is a good, very, very good player. In the Heart of the Swarm, he hasn't been as high profile in Korea, but outside, of course, it's definitely something that you can see. Just making a pun on Alive's name there in Korean. But Alive looks like he's getting focused here. He has arguably the most difficult opponent in the entire world he could face right now against him in the round of 8.
Yeah, he's a very, very... he's a player who is really now in an underdog position against his opponent. Innovation is so strong, but Alive might pull it off here. We are going into our first match in just a few seconds.
So you can see how the maps were picked. Daybreak was the first map that Alive chose. And of course, Innovation chose Akalon Waste as a second map. Then Alive counterpicked Whirlwind. And then the last 2 maps that Innovation took was, of course, Star Station and then Neoplanet S. The 2 veto maps, Alive vetoed Newkirk Precinct and Innovation vetoed Belcher Vestige. So that's just kind of some more information in depth about how we got to these 5 maps. It wasn't random.
Yeah, the players are having the picks here. And now Innovation versus Alive going into game number 1. Everyone seems to be ready in the lobby. I think the countdown already started. Map number 1 is going to Daybreak, as mentioned earlier. what we expect from Alive is at least 1 or 2 aggressive builds here in this series. But maybe he's showing us something completely different here. We're gonna find out right now. The countdown has been started. TVT #1 on Daybreak in another best of 5 here, determining the last player that is going to the semifinals. Innovation with a bit of a smile on his face right now. He feels really confident going into this series given his performance in the recent matches.
Yep. Alive, on the other hand, looking a little bit tense. And here we go, starting things off on Daybreak. Down here to the bottom left, in the red, the evil genius is Terran. He is...
EG Alive Raid Call from America.
very much the underdog here.
Yeah, definitely the case. Could surprise us all. To the top right, we have a strong opponent though.
STXO Innovation from Korea.
Yep, Innovation. Very, very strong player. Perhaps the strongest in the entire world. Everyone favoring him to win the tournament.
I would really love to see the series again between him and Solky. Just having a rematch in the finals, that would be very, very interesting to watch. Right now, let's see what Live can do here against Innovation, and also what exactly we will see from the STX Soul Terran player, how he's going to approach this. He's a very strong opponent to face and someone who can just rely on his stable and solid builds to get the lead in the game.
Alive goes for a gas first, so going into that aggression we were talking about, you know, not wanting to play a straight-up late game against Innovation. And this is a map where if both players kind of do an opening like a CC first versus CC first, or just a quick Reaper expand against each other, and that type of game plays out, this map can go very, very late game, because the third base is relatively safe to take, the fourth is in the middle of the map, safe to take next to a watchtower. So it can go really, really late if it moves beyond the two-base scenario. So Live doesn't want that to happen here, at least not in game number one.
We have the early gas for him, and as he said, this gives him now the opportunity to be aggressive in the game. Innovation at this point in time, we have him with the barracks building. He doesn't take a refinery, so it looks like we will see just a standard barracks into expand for him. No Reaper opening to find out what's going on at the bottom left, but he sends out an SCV to at least get a bit of an inkling what's happening.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to get in here because with the gas first, the Marine is so late that it's impossible to actually deny the scout, so Innovation will know exactly what's happening.
Innovation actually taking the gas now, just as I said it. He's not going into the CC first, but starting here with a Reaper opening.
Yeah, and Innovation actually with this gas can also get the tech out to defend this. Obviously what you want against a factory opening, which he scouted, is a Viking, because if it's a Widowmine drop, the Viking can still deny the medevac. If it's a Banshee, then you can deny the Banshee. If it's a Hellbat drop, the Viking is also useful against that as well.
Innovation right now getting the gas up. We have already the second gas being built for Alive. He has the factory on the way, and still the SCV in the main base. Alive, I think he knows that it didn't leave, but he's looking for the SCV right now. If he misses it, that would of course be horrible. Then we would get a free scout for Innovation later on in the game, and it looks like this is exactly what's going on.
Oh, I cannot believe this. This is a great move by Innovation, though. Knowing there's no buildings to the north, he just took a gamble here. And at the worst case scenario, he loses an SCV. So for him, this is excellent. And now going into, of course, his own factory to be safe, get that Viking out. And he comes in here now, wants to see what type of opening he's going to see it. It's Banshees.
Yeah. Has already the tech lab at the factory, and he knows what's going on, so Alive might actually change his build here. Innovation with a perfect scout, and Alive can't be happy about it.
This is actually going to get into Alive's ahead a little bit. This is one of those things that can happen to you where you just feel utterly frustrated. Everybody has, like, you know, even you as a Zerg player, you know, sometimes the probe hides in your main, you just happen to miss it for whatever reason, and then it comes in and sees you're doing that roach attack, and you're like, oh god, like, how did I not see that? Yeah.
Definitely a little bit more annoying when you miss a probe that suddenly builds a proxy pylon, but also the SCV with the scout, that can be quite devastating when you are going for a build that is just so much more effective if you can hide it. And now the Banshee has been built. I actually doubt that he's committing too close, especially since it has been spotted, and it looks like Innovation is just going to head into this Viking.
Yeah, definitely going to be the case. You know, with the fast gas that he took after his expansion, he should have the Viking almost done by the time the Banshee's starting to head over there. And like you said, Alive not committing to the cloak, because if you're scouted, why commit? It's just going to be gas down the drain, essentially. Even going into the eBay now, Innovation getting the turrets ready.
Command Center a lot faster for Innovation with the build that he has, of course. Alive also trying to get his CC out there, but we have the second orbital ready at this time for Innovation, so he can go into double SCV production and mules. And the Viking, as expected, is being built by Innovation, so he shouldn't have any problems at all throwing this back. Marines moving in, he knows exactly where the Widow Mine is, and he can delay that command center even further. Great starting match here for Innovation. He's getting a lot of hits onto those Marines. The Hellions doing a good job.
Perfect micro there, lining those Marines up intentionally there. And look at this. I mean, Innovation is just walking in the front door.
He's walking into the main base now. The Viking should be able to deal with the Banshee without too many problems. Even the missile turret now in the main base. Alive is losing a lot of time here, and his production is being camped. Now he has finally the siege tank out. But the Marines trying to take down at least a few of the units here. Not really all too successful with the SCVs, but still the Hellion at least doing damage.
Yeah, he's actually going to kill this SCV building that command center once more. This is going to deny it even further. Oh, one more shot's when he needs. Boom, gets it. And he damaged a lot of SCVs too. Even though he didn't kill those ones that chased him on the ramp, they're all hurt.
Alive killed 6, Innovation killed 3 Harvesters, but really the big story is the delay of the command center for Alive. He still didn't complete it. He is so far away from getting the second orbital into the game, and for Innovation, this is a great start into the match.
Yeah, and he also killed some of those Marines that are coming out of the production facilities. He's going to kill this Viking too, well, if he finds it. The thing is, he's going to camp the starport and at least fly around the main base and see, are you going to do any sort of weird follow-up like a Hellbat follow-up? Because that's what I'm doing. And this Widow Mine is just going to walk in the front door. Luckily, that turret will spot it, but he needs to save those mules if he can.
He didn't see it. He loses 1 SCV. That's all that is. 2 SCVs apparently. Moves away. But we have now the Widow Mines in the main base doing a good job for Innovation here with the defense.
Yeah, that other kill from earlier was actually on a Marine.
Oh yeah, you're right. That was at the beginning, exactly, I remember. I saw that on the screen. But now we have Innovation moving down with his Assault Vikings. And he has the scan user that he knows what's on.
Yeah, for him it's worth it to get that scan down, because that Widow Mine is not only going to be annoying, but also can scout for him later.
Innovation going into the Hellbat drops. HPM 2 at this point.
Yeah.
And let's see, Alive currently trying to do his best here. But once again, a Widow Mine with a great shot, taking down one of the Hellions. Innovation still ahead in the Harvesters.
We've seen Innovation play like this with Widow Mines in all matchups. He's going for that Hellbat drop, and Alive with a late pull. He barely has any SCVs to run away, but he runs some of them away. It's right now 34 to 27, 12 Harvesters killed until he might just drop right on those Marines.
Yeah, he needs to drop in here once again. They drop right into the mineral line. Oh, he gets even more shots off. Great harass here by Innovation. He's already 20 supply ahead of his opponent going into the 3rd CC. But Alive killed a significant amount of units to the top right with his Hellions, both now with the same worker kills, but still, thanks to the earlier command center and the very much delayed CC for Alive, Innovation is now far ahead in the game.
Yeah, he's powering ahead. Alive has a siege tank. That's the one thing he has that Innovation doesn't, but is that really going to be enough for him to hit a timing or be aggressive? I just don't see it. Innovation just continuing to do the aggression, going in once more. Some of these SCVs low on hit points from earlier.
Yeah, here comes the Medivac. Not speeding in just yet. Yeah, he's just dropping. He actually didn't even pay attention to the drop any longer. But he is denying mining time. And he already has the 3rd orbital tech started. So he will have 3 mules and the CC. Same is, of course, true for Alive. You can see the command center already on the high ground for him here.
Yeah. Innovation goes for another drop. Alive going for a drop, but with the Widow Mines and the Vikings in position, I just don't see that drop even getting in the main. There's the first Widow Mine, and there's the Vikings. Boom. That Medivac falling down into who knows where it ended up.
Yeah, and hey, it's like a 30 supply lead now for Innovation in total.
Alive can't even kill these Hellbats. What is he going to kill him with?
The thing is, like, he cannot mine. He cannot mine at the natural, and this is his biggest problem in the game. Mining has been delayed for so long. He's oversaturating his main base, basically. And Innovation now moving out with 80 supply against 50, having a huge lead in the worker and also in the army supply, taking his 3rd base already, just not stopping with a harass.
Yeah, this double drop here actually, or triple drop, excuse me, might actually just kill him. If he kills the tank, he can kill all the Marines, and he could just win the game with 6 Hellbats. And I think we're going to watch just that.
Everywhere, moving in from every angle, going for the SCVs. 31 against 51, that's the Harvester count here at this point in time. More Hellbats walking towards natural now. They are everywhere. The Vikings moving in, the SCVs being toasted. Alive is down to 20 worker supply.
This game has been so one-sided. And Alive is going to have to type out here. He's down to a 3rd of his opponent's supply. Viking attempting to kill the Medivac, doesn't even get it. And more Harvesters die here. He's down to 14 workers.
Innovation has more worker supply than Alive. He's basically, his worker supply is nearly doubling Alive's total supply.
Yeah. He has a third command center. Alive, I think he's just in the booth right now, sitting there trying to accept things because he knows this game is over. He had one of the worst things that happened to Alive, I think, that may have gotten into his head a little bit. It's just that SCV in the beginning of the game, and now he's just sitting there going, all right, I got to calm down. You know, after I type GG, I'm not going to have too long to prepare for game number 2, which will be on Akalon. But he's just got to get his head cleared. GG.
Innovation takes the lead in the series, and for Alive, this is of course now becoming a big problem. Not only was he defeated here, but it wasn't even close.
Was very one-sided in what we just witnessed.
At the beginning, they kind of exchanged blow for blows for a little bit, doing damage with the harass on either side, taking down SCVs, but the delay on the command center, this is where Alive already knew, okay, I'm very far behind now.
Yeah, exactly. That was a rough start for Alive. He's not going to have the momentum he wanted. The best thing for Alive against such an opponent would have been to take game 1 and have that momentum going forward so that he could at least tell me, you know, I did take that game. I can do this. But getting dominated in game number 1, you've got to just sit back and clear your head. Alive has been in the booth a lot. He has a lot of experience, so he's also got coaches there to help him out and talk to him right now. So as long as he can keep his head cool, he still does have a chance here.
He has a chance, but he has to step up his game. If he, like on this level, Alive won't be able to beat Innovation. We have a 1-0 lead. It is a best of 5, so in the best of 5 you can always bounce back. You can always come back into the series and make this happen. But he really needs to change something if he wants to claim victory here. Map number 2 is going to be a kill on waste. This is Alive's chance to tie the series, or Innovation will get the 2-0 lead against his opponent. The countdown has already started. The EG play here trying his best, but game number 1 very one-sided. Innovation just showing how much of a strong player he is. Game number 2 now, we're jumping right into it, and we'll find out if Alive is able to take map 2 and tie the series up. Starting